envy you little people. How marvelous a thing it will be to dwell under an alien sun.
In the fallout of Ballas opening a rift to the Tau galaxy, the veil between the origin system and the void has grown thin. A hole in the veil is pierced, and wreckage from the Zariman 10-0 seals the leak, a fragile derelict holding back the coming flood. Perhaps the connection between the Tenno child and our drifter counterpart willed it here. Perhaps it was sent by whatever resides beyond. Regardless, the Lotus encourages us to seek it out, to reclaim it as our home, our birthright, should we choose it.
The Zariman. There is no life aboard. And yet, all the system can hear it sing.
What does it mean?
The Zariman has returned to the origin system for the final time, Tenno. She is your rightful home. But she is beset by the nightmares of the void. It will be a daunting task, but if you are ever to reclaim her, it must be now.
There's nothing left on that wreck but bad memories. But if I can keep it from hurting anyone else, I'll go.
We are unsure. Our memories of that time, that place, are repressed, rising to the surface, flailing, gasping for air, only finding breath exactly when we need them shown. If we return there, will we float or will we drown?
Grenier. They heard the song too.
Tenno? The song is crowding me out. You must find its source alone.
And when I find it, then what?
You will know. You are a child of the void.
When we arrive, Grenier seem to have already invaded the vessel, so we move to dispatch them. Exploring the ship, we see it overgrown with distorted and fractal statues. Deeper in, we come across a new enemy.
The Worm Queen wants the Zariman for herself. I lost my family here. I'd sooner destroy it than see it in Grenier hands. That surge came from the reliquary drive. What are they doing down there?
The sleek, silvery body of a void angel. The first moment of confusion, with a strange control over void energy. It connects with us, it breaks us, and knocks us unconscious. Only to be awoken by a band of silver-skinned adults? Former crew. Five in total, but one lost before we arrived. Kira, the leader Quinn, homemaker Hombask, Archimedean Yonta, and the militiaman Cavallero.
What happened? Am I...
Dead? No, not you. This is not the homecoming we would have wished for you, but welcome home, all the same. Call me Quinn. We hold fast are the last remaining crew of the Zariman.
You can't be. The crew all died.
The void creates. Death is merely a blank canvas. We numbered 5 not long ago. Poor Kira. The song broke down her resistance. She raised her voice in answer, and now she's one of them.
Wait, are you saying that thing I just saw?
Was Kira, yes. That form is what awaits us, should we fail to hold fast. The others were all like us, once. But in time, they all drank from that bleak reliquary. And now they scream in chorus to the void. The Zariman must be saved.
Saved? It's a graveyard.
The Zariman has suffered, but she can still be a barricade against what is yet to come, if you stand with us. Help us keep her out of the hands of invaders like these Grineer. When you are ready, come to the lower decks. A void cascade is already breaking down what you accept as reality.
The second moment of confusion. The adults of the Zariman 10-0 went mad. Some of the children barricaded themselves, others fought, but we were sure that none of them survived. So who were they?
Listen, kid. Hombask here. Quinn means well, but there ain't no stopping this. We're hungry, just like Kira was. Only a matter of time. Sooner Quinn admits that to himself, the better.
With the sober mind of unaddled hindsight, what really happened on the Zariman 10-0 and what has happened since?
The future of the origin system is uncertain. Some think it is destined to burn. I still have faith. And you, fortunate colonists, are the reason. With your help, we will outgrow this crowded nest, spread our wings to the cosmos, and take flight.
Before our first assignment can begin, Hombask warns us that succumbing to the Song of the Angels is inevitable, that it is something we just have to accept. Quinn asks us to enter the floor of the reliquary drive, Orokin technology that uses an artifact from the void to allow ships to pass through space-time.
When the Grineer restarted the damaged reliquary drive, they unleashed a cascade of void manifestations from beyond the membrane. We've come to know them as Thrax. They will attack and possess our exolizers, making the unit spread void contamination instead of cleansing it.
They are using devices called exolizers to halt the spread of the contamination around the ship. Yet the Song of the Void is able to take over the exolizers to add to its acceleration. So before we go further, now would be a good time to expose the inspiration behind the story we are about to be told. The Angels of the Zariman quest is Warframe's first foray into a subgenre of science fiction called the New Weird, characterized by existentialist crisis of meaning, the limits of scientific knowledge as setting, and the atmosphere of psychological horror. Echoes of the Zariman and the Void Angels, in design and metaphorical significance, appeared to me to be inspired by the 2018 film Annihilation, directed by Alex Garland, adapted from the novel of the same name, written by Jeff Vandermeer. To further explain the Void Angels song, we will need to tangent to a discussion of the meaning and symbolism of this story. Here I will be drawing heavily from the YouTube channel Folding Ideas and their analysis video, Annihilation and Decoding Metaphors. Annihilation as a story uses a science fiction hypothetical setting to metaphorically communicate an idea about the nature of trauma, how it changes you as a person, and how our personal traumas are reflected by the people around us and our relationships with them. I say reflected because Annihilation communicates this message with a motif of light, mirrors, and reflection. Of the 11 teams that were sent, only the last returned alive, their bodies afflicted with a strange cancer. The story follows what we are told is the 12th expedition. 5 women are sent to explore an anomaly, Area X, a domed space that poses an unknown danger. They are chosen because each has a unique expertise in a field of research with the potential to reach an explanation, and each chooses to go because they are escaping from an aspect of their pasts. A linguist, lost before the story begins, a psychologist to lead the team through the anomaly, an anthropologist to give cultural context to the anomaly, a surveyor to establish the boundaries of the anomaly, and our lead protagonist, a biologist, to understand the changes to the anomaly's plants and animals, its body. As the story progresses, physical traits of each woman's body begin to show on their companions. Their personalities blend and adapt to each other. They even begin sharing traits with the land itself. Because of the loss of the linguist, each lacks the language to describe what is happening to them, each finding their own solution to what is happening to them. The anthropologist forced to succumb to it, the psychologist retreating from it, the surveyor lashing out violently at it. The biologist attempts to make sense of it through a lens of evolutionary biology, that the anomaly has forced her into a rapid evolutionary adaptation to her environment, and it continues to do so until she must come face to face with it, the crawler at the bottom of the tunnel, or the tower, a mirror of herself but changed so drastically that she cannot recognize the person staring back. The trauma of the anomaly has forced her to adapt to survive, but that adaptation creates in her a dissociation of herself. In the film, a voiceless scene has her move in a violent ballet as she tries to understand this other self. It is only once she understands its movements that she can make the choices necessary to escape, the metaphorical light within her giving her the strength to persevere beyond the trauma. Now refusing to return from Area X, the biologist gives a soliloquy in her report to bring closure to what just occurred. But lest we may assume that everything is better or fixed, we end on one last flash of light in her eyes. Even once you overcome it, the trauma, your history, stays with you. To paraphrase the first chapter, when you see beauty and desolation together, desolation tries to colonize you. For the Angels of the Zariman, the trauma of the failed jump to Tau and the will of the Void are represented by the Void Angels' song.
Those citizens who follow after you, secure in the comfort of an extrasolar rail, will wish they had shared in your hardship. How reverently they will speak of those who blazed the trail. How prized your simple genetic stock will be.
When we head to the Exalizer, the Void sends a wave of Grineer to thwart us. Both Quinn and the operator can tell, however, that these are not normal Grineer.
Contamination's messing with transference.
Damn it. The Void is taking this Exalizer. It's making the contamination worse. You wield the Void. Try to purge it. These interlopers have barely set foot aboard the Zariman. Yet the Void has seen something like them before. These half-made manifestations mirror them. But a different them.
They look older, bigger, like ancestors, maybe. But how?
They guess ancient Grineer. But my guess, given that the Void seems to overlap possible universes as explained by the Eternalism lecture during the New War, is that the enemies the Void is sending are in fact the Grineer of another reality becoming present with us. To keep up spirits amidst the chaos, Quinn and the operator begin reminiscing about good times on the Zariman before the Void jump.
We all bear the trauma of what happened on the ship. But do you remember her promise? To build a new world without strife, violence, or poverty.
We can talk about it sometime when I'm not fighting for my life. Okay?
Only to be interrupted when the song assaults Quinn in a moment of weakness.
Remember that first harvest festival? Children laughing in the agrobiomes? I wait for what could have been.
I remember the singing, picking fruit under those warm lights, hands stained purple with poplar berry juice. You really think things could have been different?
I amplifies the song. We're running out of time. A void manifestation is possessing an exilizer. Stop it before it feeds the cascade. This cascade is growing out of control. That exilizer is working for us now. Exilizer succumbing to void possession. Exilizer suppressed. Purge it before it makes the contamination worse. Keep any roaming thrax away from that exilizer until it discharges. That'll nip this cascade in the bud. Cascade subsiding. I no longer detect new void manifestations. It is safe to stand down. Please, return to the chrysalis.
After we put an end to the cascade, we confront Quinn. Quinn pushes us to think of the Zariman as our duty and our right to keep, as our reparation. But the operator expresses that there is little they can do to see this place as anything other than the trauma it caused. We want to leave, only to be alarmed by a void flood that needs to be addressed.
You must understand, the Zariman is yours now. You inherited it, along with the duty to protect it.
I'm not afraid of responsibility, but this is where everything that could go wrong went wrong. Once we're done here, I'm done here.
Wait. Listen. Void flood. Get to floor Sigma D7. Archimedean Yanta will direct you from there.
Aren't you a fascinating anomaly? Anomalies. Oh, right. Explanations. When consciousness and void come together, it makes a thing. For example, me. Not nearly as fascinating as you, though.
Yeah, we covered conceptual embodiment in TA.
We learn from Archimedean Yanta that when consciousness and void energy meet, it creates a thing. The operator calls it conceptual embodiment.
Kira called them angels. But then what does that make us? We gestated in the belly of the Zariman beast, same as them. Woke when we heard those words call us, same as them. But we aren't like them. And I'll be damned if we don't go down fighting. Right?
The angels are tearing through the Albrecht membrane. Void is flooding in through the ruptures they've created.
Something of a mixture between ex nihilo creation myths, stories where the universe begins from nothingness or dark oceans, and panpsychism, the idea that all material has a degree of consciousness, and that consciousness grows more complex with the more material making up a thing's body.
The Zariman's automatic fighter class system is damaged and overwhelmed. Seems its designer, me, neglected to envision a situation like this. We need to resort to manual application. Gather up nearby fighter class and stuff it in the ruptures.
The members of Holdfast are one such thing, a new creation made by the consciousness of the adults of the Zariman 10-0 meeting with void energy. Not those people from the past, but something new, made from the remnants of their souls. The Song of the Void Angels is an extension of the mysterious will within the void. It erases the personalities of the people before us. The song is tempting to them.
Do that enough times, and you'll keep the Zariman high and dry.
Like Kara and all the others did, they see beauty in the song. They give up their sense of self to it, and the desolation colonizes them. They become an empty beauty, a statue woven into the structure of the ship.
The void can get creative in some pretty unpleasant ways. The deeper the void flood gets, the weirder it'll be for you.
Quinn reasserts that the dream of the Zariman 10-0 to find a home without the wars of the Origin system still means something, while we dispatch another Thrax abomination.
Yanta, I know you two never saw eye to eye. But Kira was right. This ship stood for something once. Oh, the Orokin draped her in all their hollow pride and pomposity. But to the ordinary families, she meant hope. Earth was ruined. Mars arid, Lua fractured. Tau would have been a chance to begin again. We shall not fear to take the leap across the gulf to fair.
The wall betwixt is dark and deep. A home awaits us there. Yeah, we really thought we'd make it.
This is about as bad as it could be. It's Kira. She's mutating, heading straight for the reliquary drive. We won't be able to resist her song. She knows us too well.
You can hold out. I know you can.
Well, that's one less void abomination to worry about. Not bad for a day's work.
As soon as we return, Quinn informs us that the Grineer are helping to feed the Void Angels by breaking the casing of the reliquary drive. Perhaps, like the Holdfast, the Angels too still hunger for the Void and are seeking to be further exposed.
We've lost too much time. Those idiotic Grineer are cracking the shield on the reliquary drive. The Angels are heading there to feed.
I'll stop the Grineer. And Kira too.
You're really going to try, huh? Okay. Caballero can show you how to use the old deployable defenses. You'll need them.
We head down to Caballero to help him set up defenses against the approaching Angel, only for Quinn to say something foreboding.
This can only end one of two ways. We die or we change. Promise me after we're gone, you'll take care of the Zariman.
I'll do right by the Zariman, just like you did. I promise.
They will either die or change. For whatever reason, he believes that they are approaching death, to be replaced by the returning children of the Zariman. As I have been reading the story, as a metaphor for overcoming trauma, this message does not inspire much hope. Is it not possible to retain our sense of self in the face of tragedy?
The Orokin only wanted ceremonial weapons on the Zariman, but for something as important as the reliquary drive, they built in two little security guarantees: auto-fabricating armaments and exodampers. Exodampers suppress enemy combat ability. We need to defend our exodampers and our reliquary with armaments. Got that? We use Argosine to build the armaments. I marked an Argosine drop on your radar. Think you can manage to find it? Hey, Yanta. How many of those big finger relics are out there, do you think?
Well, fewer than there used to be. So long as the originals are still safely sealed away, of course.
You're a natural. Now, I'm sure you want to go crazy building armaments all over, but you cannot do that. You need to use sockets. Go find the socket that appeals to you most. Your socket. The socket that was meant for you. And build something dangerous in it. Oh, mercy me. I do believe you got the hang of this, grubber. One more thing. Enemies coming through Aura Works are always helping themselves to our Argosine. So feel free to take it from their cold, dead hands.
As for the operator, what was just moments prior an unwillingness to stay on the Zariman for even a moment longer than necessary seems to have been replaced with a committed desire to protect this place. As Caballero explains the security systems to us, he also seems to make a cheeky little reference to a manga by acclaimed horror mangaka Junji Ito, The Horror of Amigara Falls. This is my hole, it was made for me. Rather than digging myself in deeper, I would actually prefer not to explore this particular allusion too much further. When Kira arrives, we have our first opportunity to fight with a Void Angel. Speaking from my own personal experience, this first fight had so much disorientation that I felt like I might as well have been fighting the crawler.
She's here. Or Kira. You have to stop her. You have to try.
Don't bother trying to hurt Kira's angel form now. She's pulled her essence back into the void. We're gonna have to follow her in there. That's her. The real Kira. You don't take her out here, she'll heal. Those Those orbs will redirect any damage you can do. Try throwing yourself through them. Kira's almost recovered. You need to put her down.
Before we can finish it off, Quinn sends us one last goodbye, encouraging us to take a leap, and making me bite my tongue as I try not to see a reference to Soren Kierkegaard's existentialist philosophy just because of a single sentence of dialogue.
It's over for us. Fight on, and remember who we once were. We shall not fear to take the leap.
Anybody? Damn it.
No one responds to us.
Tenno, the song has quieted. I am no longer reading Void Distortion. What have you found on the Zariman?
Just ghosts. I think we all lost today.
So we return to the chrysalis. With Kira's song ended, the Lotus can reach out to us. We deliver a somber mission report. Yet when we return, the Holdfast are safe and sound.
Quinn, you're still you.
We changed. Oh, we drew power, but from a very different source. You have noticed it's not just the reliquary that can work miracles with the void, yes? I wonder, do you even know just how brightly you shine?
You say that. But this place, I can't forget what it's put me through. Everyone through.
So, remember, like we remember Kira. There was a place in this park where she used to love to sit. I think perhaps it would suit a memorial.
Drawing their power from the brightness within the Tenno child instead of the reliquary drive, they manage to overcome the desolation of the Void Angel's song.
We do not gamble with the lives of our beloved citizens. The jump will be over in a mere moment. Within this mighty metal heart, all of you are as safe as babes in arms. We have learned that some of you consider the jump too dangerous. Remember, citizens, the air you breathe aboard the Zariman is not free. It is a luxury you are permitted to indulge in. And like any privilege, it can be revoked. Be aware of this danger too.
Now that the quest is over, we continue to earn Holdfast's trust by quieting the Void Angels and their songs.
Zariman is holding steady. Glad you decided to stick around. This place, the Chrysalith, was meant to be a sanctuary. Now it's a war room. We're fending off Grineer raiders, Corpus salvage hunters, and of course, the Void Angels. Taking our home back is going to be a long, hard fight. I mean to make use of your exceptional talents wherever I can. Come and see me whenever you're ready for a bounty assignment. We can remember much of what happened, but the time of the accident is clouded for us, like cryofog. It is as if the void had to erase in order to create. There's material the angels secrete that functions like Aya. Yanta believes our lost memories are in there.
Buy stuff, kill stuff, repeat. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not sure why I'm here at all, but I'll keep you alive. These used to be museum fodder, ceremonial and all that golden piss talk. But now, real weapons. Void-touched, not fashion accessories, not conversation pieces. They are for killing. We good? Okay. Later.
If the Archimedean seniors could see me now. Before you ask, no, we can't move the ship. Something I wasn't sure existed has burst through the Albrecht membrane, and right now the Zariman is plugging that hole. Pop her out, and we'd see void storms from here to Mercury. Which would be fascinating, if memorably horrible. Anyway, feel free to bring me anything you think I might be interested in. That's all.
Ah! You can never have too much stuff. Hey, welcome. If we'd ever made it to Tau, I was gonna be in charge of the homesteading. Getting everyone kitted out for their new start, you know? Well, you remember how that went. Shoot for the moon, land in a bucket of piss. So, in memory of the woman I was back when I was alive, I'm helping folks set up their homes here now. Kid, when someone's gone, the part nobody talks about is that you have to choose how you're gonna remember them. There were people on this ship who loved you. You're never gonna forget what happened here. But you owe it to them and yourself to remember all the other days too. Protect those memories. Protect the Zariman. When you're ready to start making this place a home, come see me.
The Holdfast crew begins to remember the experiences of the people who made them, and for their time together fighting against the song from the void angel feathers we recover. First, memorization.
They didn't go quietly, did they?
They all knew a big jump was coming. Not a safe, controlled sequence of bursts, but a single, mad leap.
So the people found 1,000 ways to say no.
And I denounced them as filthy traitors.
You had no choice.
Eternalism dictates that we always have choices. They believed me, and now they're dead.
Archimedean Yonta comes to the realization that she led the facilitation of the crew's unrest by planning a reckless strategy for getting to Tau. One massive leap was the catalyzation for their void exposure. Second, memorization.
The closer we came to the jump, the crazier it got.
I remember how everything changed when the agricultural biomes were hit.
And the people celebrated. Everyone thought we'd be going back home.
But it just made the Orokin more determined.
I thought I was saving us all when I sabotaged the biomes. But then the children began to starve.
You don't blame the animal for gnawing its own leg off. You blame whoever set the trap.
Hombask sabotaged the biomes, thinking that the emergency situation would force the Orokin's hand and let the Zariman return home, yet all that resulted was starvation. Third, memorization.
I rounded the dissenters up, made an example of the ringleaders.
You went about it like you were herding animals.
I had my orders. Your orders. You may not have been Orokin, you pious bastard, but you were damn close. Liaison to the Expeditionary Command, bearer of the Crystal Index.
My tablet. A swipe of my finger across a name, and the ship gained a new cephalon.
Cavallero organized the violent suppression of the crew, while Quinn glassed dissenters. The crystallization that creates cephalon computers. Fourth, memorization.
The children barricaded themselves in. The parents were insane, feral.
But not us. And we couldn't forget our guilt.
So we tried to save the children.
I watched the parents tear you to pieces, Humbask.
Then when they threw themselves on you, you blew yourself up. And Quinn, the children didn't understand he was a friend. They blasted him to ash.
And you?
An honor I did not deserve. I awarded myself the Jade Light.
They remember the Void sickness taking over the crew. Quinn, Hombast, and Cavallero attempted to protect the children while they barricaded themselves, while Archimedes and Yonta chose a more expedient cessation. Fifth, memorization.
Quinn is dead. Whatever guilt he bore should have died with him. So why does it still burn?
Because we're not finished here. None of us.
If we're talking redemption, seems to me the dying's the easy part.
So this is our fate. Living out every day in a pantomime of contrition?
What? Like you got something better to do? Quinn, wake up. Look at us. We're back to how we were. This ain't just a second chance. It's an eternity of second chances.
Perhaps. Yes. Blame lingers, but so does duty. To say that is not why we were recreated. The indifference has awoken, and all of the Void's creations must find a light. Even ones we thought lost, in another time. Let eternity be our horizon. Until then, we shall hold fast.
The Holdfast accepted that they are not those people from the past, yet honor their memories. They choose not to abandon the ship. They choose a life of redemption, contrition, and resisting the coming annihilation.
I, Executor Tool, would never condemn a mere citizen for being afraid. You stand upon the precipice. It is natural to tremble, but see that you set your jaws and hold your tongues. Do not infect others with your shameful misgivings.
As we explore the Zariman 10-0 during our mission, we can find communication sent to the crew of the Zariman by their Orokin leadership, and over time, these messages tell the story of a revolution. This entire time, being the children of Orokin has sat in the background of the story. We knew that our parents had been turned into monsters when they faced the corruption of the Void, but if they were Orokin, were they monsters before then as well? Now we have our answer. The crew were not Orokin, simply Orokin subjects. Just before the Void Trump, the crew of the Zariman 10-0 staged a coup to be free from the fascist authority of the Orokin cultist oligarchy. As punishment, the Orokin threatened them, denied them food and water, and finally sabotaged the Void Jump.
Whispers are the currency of the petty mind. Citizens who walk upright have no time for them. Root out treachery, as you would root out a malignancy in your child. Citizens, be aware. You will never be out of our reach. If you squander this venture, you will know no forgiveness. We have your names. Our loyal servants stand ready to punish your families at our word. How dare you fear? What do you imagine you have to lose? You citizens are born to die. Such is your lot. But even such a death as yours may be meaningful if it serves us. In this alone is your salvation. Hear me, if you still can. Microscopic creatures live upon your skin, and yet you are oblivious to their existence. So it shall be with the Seven and yourselves. We wash our hands of you. The Zariman project is no more. We stretched forth our great hands, shaped to match our generosity, and we gave such abundance. You citizens were to be the first to settle a new system. And now, your bestial defiance has cast you into the pit. Come to those hands again, and you will find them closed to you.
The void jump was no incidental occurrence at all. It was Orokin hubris. If they could not control the new ideals that the Zariman had sworn an oath to before making the jump, then they would destroy it and start over. Yet now we can find solace in the fact that our original parents were, perhaps, some pretty okay people. Speaking for myself, I prefer this interpretation. Stay true.